These big guys completely ignore the stereotypical fighter's body. They absorb every heavy blow like it's a snack, only to mercilessly crush the muscle men who think their strength can overpower these fast food lovers. Get ready to witness how these so-called hopeless chubby guys ruthlessly destroy the overconfident bodybuilders. This insane Russian fighter, who looks like a terrifying ogre, is named Vyacheslav Datsik. Known as the Red Tarzan, this monster was raised in Russia's toughest neighborhoods, alternating between brutal knockouts in the ring and armed robberies, with many stints in prison along the way. One day, promoters matched Datsik against an equally insane fighter, Geronimo Dos Santos. This muscular giant from the favelas earned the nickname Chef for soaking his victims' faces in bloody sauce, turning them into medium-rare steaks. At the pre-fight press conference, the cocky Dos Santos tried to intimidate Datsik like King Kong, but he had no idea that the Russian bear's madness was on a completely different level. Even during the stare-downs, these fighters put on a true show, and for dessert, they had a wild brawl planned for the audience. From the start, Datsik made it clear to the muscular Brazilian that in the jungle, only the strongest survive. Dos Santos managed to get back up, thinking he had a chance, but the bulky lunatic quickly buried any hope the Brazilian had. In the end, Datsik completely crushed the giant's confidence, forcing him to surrender in cowardice. Fun fact, Vyacheslav Datsik's life is as extreme as his fights. He has been in and out of mental institutions and prisons multiple times, diagnosed with schizophrenia. This, combined with his wild and unpredictable fighting style, makes him a truly unique and terrifying figure in MMA history. Meet Chris Huggy Bear Barnett, the most eccentric chubby guy in boxing, known for earning Performance of the Night bonuses just for his wild celebrations. One day, muscular tattoo artist Jay White boldly challenged the seemingly harmless Chris. White, who worked on tattoo designs, lunged at Barnett, throwing punches without a second thought. In response, Huggy Bear lived up to his nickname, trapping his opponent in a deadly hug to close the distance and start counterattacking. Barnett gave the cocky White a brutal lesson, sending him into a painful slumber as punishment for his arrogance. He's trying to escape on top of Beast Boy.
With the right. Now he comes in, he's willing to exchange, and now the big...
This is where Barnett...
White in some trouble at the moment, trying to swing his way out of it, back up, right on top.
Fun fact, despite his unusual physique for an elite fighter, Chris Barnett is a black belt in Taekwondo and a Shotokan karate practitioner, which explains his surprising agility and spinning kicks that have left many opponents bewildered. His style is as unpredictable as his body. Meet Bacon Bakirov, the guy who went from delivering food to delivering punches inside the MMA cage. Right from the start, his opponent was an imposing, muscular fighter forged among the most dangerous warriors of Chechnya. A man named Alice Khan. The giant underestimated his opponent, thinking he'd send Bakirov straight to the ICU. But karma delivered a fast and brutal package from the bulky courier. Bakirov showed no mercy, humiliating the muscle-bound fighter again and again, slamming his massive body to the ground like he was mopping the floor. In the end, the chubby guy publicly humiliated the arrogant giant, transforming into a delivery man of corpses. Fun fact, Bakirov's story, going from a regular job to knocking out a much more imposing opponent in the octagon, echoes the spirit of David versus Goliath, and proves that dedication and instinct can overcome raw physical power in combat. Meet Sumanth, the Dragon Warrior, Alireza, the living reincarnation of the Dragon Warrior. Despite his size, this heavyset fighter, made in China, ruthlessly tore through every opponent, becoming an unbreakable wall for heavyweights. But standing in his way was Bob Sapp, the terrifying monster fueled by steroids. This wild beast, driven by aggression, knew no mercy, breaking rules in the dirtiest ways imaginable. Before the fight, the steroid-pumped rat didn't see the bulky Chinese fighter as a real threat and tried to scare him, but quickly got a taste of the kung fu threat technique. The bell rang, and the musclehead quickly realized that hitting the chubby guy was harder than lifting weights, while Alireza taunted him with mocking footwork. The Dragon Warrior charged at Sap with brutal force, executing a merciless destroyedization, turning the muscular giant into a global joke in the fight world. Fun fact, despite his bulky appearance, Alireza is known for his agility and his foundation in traditional Chinese martial arts. His victory over Bob Sapp, a massive and feared fighter at the time, was a bold statement that technique and strategy can triumph over brute strength even against an opponent as formidable as Sapp, who once even competed in professional sumo. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We promise to bring you more content just like this. Eric Esch, better known as Butterbean, is the face of big-boned fighters, splitting his time between the boxing ring and the buffet line. This chubby guy effortlessly defeated professional fighters in the ring, winning the hearts of millions and proving that this is what a real athlete can look like. Years went by, and the aging Eric became a mere shadow of his former self, trading the boxing ring for the MMA cage. In 2007, the veteran was used as a stepping stone for the Hungry Lion, James the Colossus Thompson, unless he opens up the guard when I say stop. The Colossus, with his terrifying physique and equally intimidating glare, was supposed to crush his heavy-set opponent, but apparently, before the fight, Butterbean forgot to refuel with spicy wings, unleashing his fierce hunger instead. How else could you explain the veteran's wild onslaught against the colossal titan? He's probably going to use that left jab a lot, because that's not my... Oh, that's a big if. And I think there it is. There it is. Oh, that's it. I mean, that's it. Butterbean did it. Thompson's still looking for the takedown.
I think that... There it is.
There you go.
There it is. Oh, that's about it. I mean...
In the end, Butterbean annihilated the cocky muscle man, proving that his cholesterol armor was stronger than any six-pack. The crowd was on its feet, stunned that David had once again conquered Goliath. Fun fact, Butterbean's victory over James Thompson at K1 Dynamite USA was one of the biggest upsets in mixed martial arts that year. Thompson was a massive favorite, an elite MMA athlete. Yet Butterbean, better known for his boxing and kickboxing bouts, knocked him out in under 2 minutes. Clearly, he hadn't had his spicy wings that morning. This New Zealander devours punches like their lunch, only to mercilessly claim his opponent's soul right after. Mark Hunt, the Samoan Miracle, became K1's top supplier of bodies for the morgue with his deadly fists. At the start of the century, he faced his toughest challenge yet, Jerome Le Banner. The fearless gladiator of the era, with the physique of a Greek god and no room for the word surrender in his vocabulary, had become one of the most elite executioners in combat sports. The French Tower was already a kickboxing legend, while Hunt had barely graduated from bar fights to the ring. Fans packed the Tokyo Dome, expecting the Samoan's funeral. With a massive size advantage and his long-range punches primed, Le Banner was already preparing his victory banner. But the warrior spirit of the Super Samoan wouldn't let this heavy-set brawler give up. Throwing his game plan out the window, Hunt launched into a wild hunt against the Frenchman. The muscular titan was stunned by the determination of the chubby guy, and after a flurry of lightning-fast strikes, he turned his back and ran in desperation. In the end, Hunt ruthlessly knocked out the Titan with a punch not meant for the faint of heart. Fun fact, Mark Hunt's fight against Jerome Le Banner in the final of the K1 World Grand Prix 2001 is considered one of the greatest upsets in kickboxing history. Le Banner was a heavy favorite and at the peak of his career, while Hunt was seen as an underdog who had barely transitioned from boxing to kickboxing. Against all odds, Hunt won the entire tournament, cementing his legacy as the Super Samoan. This giant, Mr. Muscles, struck fear into the hearts of the entire heavyweight division. His name was Anthony Joshua, the boogeyman of the ring. boxing's elite avoided the undefeated knockout king, forcing AJ to face the little-known chubby Mexican Andy Ruiz Jr., who was considered nothing more than a high-calorie breakfast for the superstar. Trying to stay loose, and here we go, round number 1.
Joshua able to touch Ruiz at will, fires off a right corner, Sergio, and trying to get his man to box and at the back end of those contenders' careers. You wonder at what point that Joshua, that can really drain a man, and a hook lands as well.
By the third round, the Brit had already sent the taco lover to the canvas, and as they prepared to bury the prospect, the chubby guy rose like a phoenix from the ashes and went all in.
Ruiz mixes it up, good uppercut and a hook, puts Ruiz.
Mixes well, nice hook, Ruiz down. Wow, that was fast for Josh. The cocky muscle man thought victory was in the bag, but Ruiz shocked the world, giving the Titan a hard lesson in gravity.
Ruiz comes to fire back, and Joshua's hurt. Oh, Joshua goes down.
What was supposed to be a walk in the park turned into a marathon, with Ruiz chasing the giant around the ring. And I don't think Anthony Joshua ever imagined Andy Ruiz would be able to withstand that. In a desperate attempt to appease the bulky killer, Joshua tried to clinch him, but Ruiz saw through the dirty tactics and continued the champion's brutal punishment. A shot! That was at the end. Oh, that hook almost landed. Right hand, and now the onslaught's in trouble. And down he goes.
Against Vladimir Klitschko, he was hurt here, and Ruiz with a stiff right hand as well. Legs, Brian. And there is 40-plus seconds left in this round.
These are the
But Sergio has Joshua hurt in the corner. He thought this was a big chance, and now here comes Ruiz. Joshua is hurt. He's staggered, and he goes down again.
Punch, and that was at the very end.
Oh, that hook almost landing in right hands from Ruiz, and now a barrage. The champ's in trouble right here, Brian. Joshua with the hard jab, trying to answer, but he's shaking, he's down again.
In the end, Ruiz pulled off one of the biggest upsets in boxing history, showing the world that willpower is stronger than muscle. An overhand right here, Josh with a stiff jab trying to answer, but he said he's down again. Wow, that's it. He says that's it. Andy Ruiz is the champion. Fun fact, Andy Ruiz Jr.'s victory over Anthony Joshua in 2019 is considered one of the greatest upsets in heavyweight boxing history. Joshua was an undefeated unified champion, while Ruiz was a last-minute replacement with an unathletic-looking physique. Few gave him any chance. His win shocked the world and proved that in boxing, heart and skill can beat looks and muscle every time. So friends, we've shown you that even the seemingly harmless big guys without the perfect physique can absolutely destroy cocky, muscle-bound opponents. If you liked what you saw, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe. See you next time.